Already started, Bismillah.
You can start, Prof.
Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Actually, the best thing to start our session is recitation of Al-Fatiha.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم ملك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
آمين 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 رحمن آمين يا رحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Our talk today, inshallah, will be with Professor Omar Ahmed Al-Emshiri. He is from Libya, from College of Science, University of Tripoli. Type of the talk that we are going to talk today, Islam and the Phylogenetic tree. And this is actually that we talk about the creationism, definition, the history, the facts, the botanical thing, what related to botany and all this to biology and all these things, and how did the creation begin? This is the main issue. Things on that Islamic have definite thought. There is some theories from non-Muslim, from other religions also have some other theories. The beginning of creation varies. The Prophet explained this, and we Islamic, of course, pointed Islam. We give him the chance to speak. We give him about 50 minutes or 40 minutes because we already lost some time. We give 40 minutes for his speak. Then after that, we allow for discussion and queries, inshallah. So, Prof. Omar, you have 40 minutes from now. Please start. The floor is yours. You are welcome. To IUA, please. Bismillah. Unmute, please, Prof. Unmute your IUA. Bismillah. Mic. Your microphone is muted. Yes, now, okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I feel so privileged and to be talking to a group of people like you, and I'm sorry, I thank you very much for meeting for a short time. What I would like to do is, I like to listen, I like to share with you my ideas or what I came forward with, and I'll be so happy to listen to what you give me for ideas. First, let me introduce you to myself. I am a graduate of University of Colorado in 1985 in the field of comparative anatomy. My interest was first about the scented glands, and that idea came to me from the verse of Sayyidina Yusuf, Rasul Yusuf alayhi salam. And then I followed my scientific research, so I got a PhD in scent glands. When I went back home, I was teaching comparative anatomy of vertebrates, and I have been teaching that course for about 47 years now. I came to so many questions from students and from my colleagues, which we answered some of them, and when we came to a certain point, we become stuck. And these questions are about what's life, what's the creation, who is the creator, and where the creation was happened. There are lots of theories and lots, as you know, of information about this subject. At the time being, I'm writing a book about comparative anatomy of vertebrates. I have all chapters ready, except for the first chapter, where I have to talk about the origin of species, or the origin of these vertebrates. Okay. Okay. The question most asked is, what is the living and what's the living organism and how life did began? Now, when we come to the vertebrates, or the animal living now on our land, on the universe, we can subdivide all the animals in the oceans, on the land or in the air. We can subdivide them to two groups only two groups, not more than that. Protostomia, one group is called protostomia, and in those groups, the blastopore gives rise to the mouth, and the other group is called deuterostomia, where the blastopore gives the anus. Now, if we go to the phylogenetic tree, the way I teach the students, I cannot, this is deuterostome branch, and this is the protostome stage. This protostome stage is, this branch is for invertebrates, which is of no interest to me. But the two groups, all the animals in the universe can be grouped into two groups, either deuterostome or protostome, nothing other than that. Now, I could not say where did these two groups come from. All of this phylogenetic tree, I have no problem with. I can explain all of these and how they are arranged or classified into the subphylum vertebrates. But my problem is where the protostomes and deuterostomes come from. So to be within the Quran and within the Sunnah, I teach my students, let's say that there is a hypothetical ancestor, and which we don't know for the time being. Maybe our scholars in the Quran and in the Islamic religion in the future, maybe after 1,000 years, after a million years, maybe they will come to an idea of what is the ancestor. We know exactly how humans were created, but we don't know where these two groups came from. For example, if we go to the deuterostomes, we get some echinodermata, hemichordata, urochordata, cephalochordata, until we come to the subphylum vertebrata. Now, from the subphylum vertebrata, we have a group of animals called superclass species, and which these are all animals, we call them fish-like animals. They are not true fish. They lived in water. They lived in bones, because the early life was created in water and lived in water. And we will see, if we go through the phylogenetic tree, we will see how life has transformed from water to the terrestrial or to the land. From the Agnatha, then we get some ostracoderms and superclass Gnathostomata. Agnatha, these are group of animals. They don't have upper jaw and lower jaw. They call them cyclostomata. Their mouth is like a circle, and most of them live as parasites. Up to nowadays, they still live. Then from this group came the gnathostomes. Now the upper jaw and lower jaw start showing in the animals. Then they came Placodermata. The placoderms now gave us the true fish, Osteoctis and the Chondrichthyes. These are fishes whose skeleton is all bone, only bone. And these are fish whose skeleton is only cartilage. They have no bone. The Chondrichthyes stayed like it is, like shark, stays like it is. It did not develop anymore and did not give us any more groups. Superclass Actinopterygiae, and then we have Sarcopterygiae here. From the Sarcopterygiae, we call them the ancestor for tetrapods. Now, the animals, the life will start moving from water environment to the terrestrial environment. Here, the Rhipidestian Crossopterygiae. These are the stem for primitive amphibians. And here we have the Labyrinthodonts. Now the amphibians start coming out, the Anura, Eurodira, and the, but they have to go back to the water life when breeding comes along. From this group of animals came the reptiles. Group of reptiles. The ancestor is called the Cotylosaur, which gave us the dinosaurs, and they gave us this group is divided in three groups: Anapsida, Diapsida, and Synapsida. Anapsida gave us the turtles, and Diapsida gave us the rolling reptiles, and gave us the squamata, and gave us the crocodiles, until we came to the apes. The apes, we have two groups. We have the Archaeopteryx and present, or all the birds we see now. The Archaeopteryx, we see it only in fossils. And here there is a link between the birds and reptiles. This bird here carries the characteristics of reptiles, and in the same time, it carries the characteristics of birds. The characters of birds is the wings and the upper and lower, the beak. But the beak here has teeth. And we know now that no bird has teeth, only crocodiles have teeth. These birds are also characterized by a tail that is composed of 13 vertebrae. And there is no bird nowadays in the recent years, or the new birds which had a tail with that long. This is no problem we can talk about. Now when we come to the mammals from which we are, which human came up, we have the group Therapsida. This group Therapsida, from which came the true mammals, the mammalia, mammals. Mammals meaning these animals can give birth, and in the meantime they lactate. They have a mammary. And even the mammals are grouped in two groups. One of them is so primitive, we call it the Prototheria. Prototheria, these are, even though they had mammals, but they still lay eggs. They do not conceive in the uterus. These animals, like the duck-billed platypus, still it's a mammal, but lays eggs, and then after the egg hatch, the young comes back to the mother for lactation. There is another group more advanced, we call it the Metatheria. Metatheria. These are also mammals, but they do not conceive. Their conception is so short. As long when the mother gets pregnant, the young leaves the uterus immature. So we call it, these mammals give birth to immature youngs, and then the youngs crawl up, climb the hair on the belly or the abdomen until they fall into a pocket on the abdominal region, like the kangaroo. Now, in this pocket, there is only one mammary gland. The young captures this mammary gland, and the mammary gland swallows in his mouth, so he cannot be free from it. And the mother is the one who controls the lactation. Now, when we come to the eutheria, which are the true mammals, from which we are, here we have lots of mammals, and humans come on the top of these three. This is all, we have no problem talking about this three in the view of the Quran and in the view of the Sunnah. The biggest problem is the hypothetical ancestor. We come to a good point when we talk about where did these animals came from. We know that all the animals, or all, they came from one cell, as the Quran said, and as the creation of Prophet Adam alayhi salam. We know that, but we don't know how these two groups, deuterostomes, protostomes, of course now Adam and the true mammals belong to this group, to deuterostomes. But this is my problem. I cannot find a good answer for an ancestor to explain how these two groups came off. Thank you very much. I would glad to be talking to you. I would be so happy to hear from you. And in fact, you know, I'll be so happy if I get some answers from you, so I could put it in my book, and I will use you as references. I will use your names as referees that I talked to you and you gave me these ideas. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay. Now the floor is open for any query from anyone. If maybe you can ask directly, open your mic and ask directly, or write on the whatever you like on the chat, and we can read it. So it's so easy to open and read and answer. If no one is asking, I may ask some simple question about this creation theory from different point of view, from different religions. So for different, it varies according to actually subscriptures, different religions, that like other books, like Torah, like Injil, like Zabur, like the other books. Do you have idea about this, about the creation? Are they same like Quran, or some variation, because they follow now the...
There are some...
Yes, please.
There are lots of variations between the Islamic points of view, and you know, you all heard about Darwinian and what Darwin said. And in fact, Darwin was... He never said that the human came from apes. Never said that. He talked about missing links. Now, the last book I read about the Islamic opinion for the human origin and actually the life of origin is a book called Cattle Ears. And this is written by the scholar called Adil Babakr. He really talked about the origin of creation as it's reflected from surah, ayat, Quran, phrases of the Quran, and lots of it makes a lot of sense. And he came to a point that he did not, he agreed with Darwin. He did not deny what Darwin have said. In fact, he defended Darwin, and he said he is the one who said never. Darwin never said that the humans and the apes are one origin. So when you talk about creation, the whole world now is divided into two schools: creationist and evolutionist. And from our point of view, we are creationist. Creation is the prevailing every day. The creationists are the prevailing view. Our ideas, our talks are more accepted by lots of people than the evolutionists.
Okay, good. So any other query from the floor?
As we discussed, you and I, we talked about these things, and I really don't want to write something that is not correct. I don't want to put anything in the hypothetical ancestor. The whole tree here I can defend. The hypothetical ancestor, I like to have Thank you very much.
With the voice, huh? The voice disappear. Okay. Anyone have some query or question or addition or explanation? Okay, I may have another small query also about actually the Jannah. The Jannah that Adam and Eve were in. Is it the same Jannah that we are going to go after the resurrection day, or?
According to the last book I wrote, the Jannah from which Adam was expelled out was in Arafat, was in Mecca, was very close in Mecca, and
resurrection day or the real Jannah?
I did not understand what you said. The Jannah, for the last theory I wrote, is the Jannah where our fathers were created, where Adam was created, was in Arafat, in Mecca, in the Holy Land. Then Allah expelled people from it. The Jannah al-Khuld is up, we don't know where. It's not the same Jannah.
Yeah, because some scholars that are different have different point of view. Some said the real Jannah, some said it's different Jannah, as you said now. That's why we get confused. We want
when we see what happened in the Hajj ceremony, and we'll follow it and read it, follow exactly what happened from people sitting in Arafat and then going back to Mina and going Kada. It makes lots of sense that the Jannah, the first Jannah where Adam was created, was in Arafat, was in the Holy Land, and then the Jannah al-Khuld is another different place. Only God, only Allah knows where.
Anyone have a query now before we go for end the session, or?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum, Prof. Hida, you here?
Yes, please. Yeah, go ahead.
I have one question, but I'm not really sure if it's the right question to ask or not, Prof. But I have like this. I'm interested in knowing that how do we can explain actually to people who are confused with sexuality and gender in human especially. Perhaps there is ways to explain to them from the perspective of taxonomy and phylogenetic studies, if there are any, Prof? To give them like very basic and very strong scientific foundation that there is like this distinct sexual that is assigned to you since you are birth, and you should not like confuse it and go for changing the sexuality, the one that we are the one that our current world are facing nowadays. Is there any ways to explain that from maybe taxonomy or phylogenetic studies?
Well, from anatomical point of view and from the embryological point of view, when we study the embryo, the human embryo or any vertebrate embryo, the early stages of development which take place in the uterus, we come to a stage where we call it the morula or neurula, here where the organs start develop. And it's interesting that both female and male sexual organs both start from the same tissue. We call it sexual primordia. So it's the same tissue, and even in anatomy we call them analogous to each other. The male sexual organ and the female sexual organ we describe them analogous, simply because they came from the same sexual or from the same tissue, from the we call it sexual primordia. Then by following the development of the uterus, of the embryo in the uterus, then the hormones will play a great role of directing this sexual primordia either to male or female. What we call faith map. In this faith map, every group of tissue, each group of tissue, its future is decided by the genetic code made on or founded in its cells. So it's genetics and male and female hormones. If the male hormones are the more concentrated, they will actually direct this tissue to go to male organs. If the female hormones are the predominant, the tissue will grow to female sexual organ. And in between, if the male and female sexual hormones are equal or close together, then we will see some people will be born with muscular body, but we find them, they will carry lots of female characteristics. The opposite is right. The females may develop with male sexual characteristics, phenotypes. So it's really directed by what's found in the genetic code and the concentration of male and female sexual hormones.
So the main idea is hormones, imbalance or shaitan, or what is it?
Genetics, we call it the genetic code. There is a code in every cell, every group of tissue. A tissue, when we call it tissue, meaning that we have a group of cells united together to form a tissue. Now, this tissue is genetically programmed. There are genes. There are the X chromosome and Y chromosome have played the role in there. The genes and the hormones.
So she may ask her the query maybe about why people go for this changing or trans.
I'm sorry, I can't answer you. I have no idea, except
Yeah.
except
Sure.
That's enough, Prof. Thank you so much.
That's good. It's good. It's a good question, actually.
Mm.
So any more query or question? Still, we have time up till 11:30. We have time.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof.
Alaikum assalam. Welcome. Yes.
I'm sorry, I nearly forget about this program. And I'm just coming, a few minutes back. But I was here when Prof was talking about the Al-Jannah, the one that, will I say, our forefather, anyway, was used before sent to this world. But you were saying something like that Jannah is very close to somewhere in Mecca, right? So I would like you to, I would like you to clarify or to speak more about this, because this actually, to me, I think, based on my understanding before, I want to have more understanding from you, particularly to be able to defend that point when we have to encounter other questions from other people. So please, Prof, kindly please provide more explanations on this so that we have better understanding on that. Thank you so much.
To answer this question exactly, it's a very long story. We have to go back to the first human, how Allah created humans from mud, from water to begin with, and then from mud, and how many generations of humans, because humans were Adam was not a person, was not one person in the first creation. They were groups, a group of Adam, and this group, Shaitan, when Allah asked the Shaitan to bow, he wouldn't bow, and he said that he would be the enemy of humans all his life. We all know this story. So the Shaitan came to this group of humans, primitive humans, or we say the first humans, humans without knowledge, let's say. And I will give you a reference for this, a very, very good reference for this at the end of the question. So the human were two groups. One group disobeyed Allah, and they did not make ma'asiyah. And the other group who obeyed a Shaitan. Now, the group who obeyed the Shaitan vanished and stayed, and we left with one group who are now, Allah decided to raise them. And what they mean by raise them is giving them the mind, the character of thinking, the character of using things in nature. These groups, this group, the last group, stayed in the Jannah, which was on Arafat, on Jabal Arafat. Well, that's why we say today Al-Hajj Arafat. If you don't stand Arafah, you have no Hajj, you have no pilgrimage. So from Arafat, then people, the human, Allah anzal al-an'am. Al-an'am, cattle, were not created on land. They were given by Allah. Just like Allah, when gave his words to Adam, he did not actually talk to Adam, but he gave them some modules on the land so he can use them. And then Allah made this Adam who did not obey, make the Hajj until they came to Mecca. And actually what we do now in Hajj is we are repeating what our ancestors, our human ancestors have done to Allah forgive them. Then Allah forgive them. This is the first Jannah. Then the Jannah after we die and then we rise again. We don't know. No book will tell you about. And the book I'm quoting from is this book called, there's a copy in Arabic and there's a copy in English. In English, it's called Cattle Ears, written by Professor Imad Babakr. And he talks about about the ayat in Quran and about the how this how we came to what we are now, and we are still developing from the first creation of Adam, from the first moment Allah created Adam to this point. We are still developing. I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much.
Okay, may I add some little bit on this? Because I was listening to Sheikh Muhammad Mutawalli Sha'rawi. He said the real Jannah after the resurrection day, there is no taklif, no orders, no do and don't do. You are free to do whatever you like over there. But in the other Jannah, when they say do everything, but don't touch this tree, that means there is an order. That's in the real Jannah, there is no orders like this. No, there is no precautions. You feel free. That's some arguments from some famous scholar. He said that there is no taklif in that Jannah at all. That's maybe some point. Or any other query from the floor? Can allow one or two questions. If someone find difficulty in speaking, can write on the chat. The chat is open, that area. So, Prof. Omar, maybe if no query, maybe we will like to end the session as usual. But however, we will like to thank Prof. Omar Ahmed Emshiri from Tripoli, or University of Tripoli, from Libya. He's a visiting professor to IUM, and inshallah there will be some collaboration in the future with INHART and other kulliyas. Inshallah. Yeah. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, Prof.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes.
I'm just wondering if the Professor Omar can elaborate more on the creation of non-human.
Creation of what?
Just not only human. So, because in the Quran, maybe the creation of the human somehow is clear, but the non-human, I think.
Other plants,
the creation of it.
But the non-human, I think, not clear enough. Maybe Prof can elaborate on that. Thank you.
Our holy book, the Quran al-Karim, indicated to us that human is created from mud. Yes, this is the big picture. But actually, when we collect all the phrases for a human creation, the first thing was created was the water. Allah created water. And then by his will, by kun fayakun, he created the whole universe, skies, land, universe, all from water. And then he this is all they were one mass. Then والسماوات والأرض كانت رتقا ففتقناهما. يعني فصلت السماوات عن الأرض وبدأ creation أو خلق الإنسان من الماء من الماء والطين. وفي عدة there are many stages of in the creation of human. But the first humans, not from the same tree, but just like other animals. Then Allah raised the human race from one stage to others. There are 4 stages in the development of human, from the primitive human that were living with animals, behaving like animals, then to the stage where Allah gave the human being Adam العقل, mind, تفكير, النظر, البصر. This is the last stage. This is the stage in Jannah. This is the stage where Allah asked the angels to bow to Adam, and Iblis said no. So there are 4 stages, and the last stage is of the human is what we came from. Then came the prophets Ibrahim and Nuh. Nuh came actually. The Prophet Nuh alayhi salam is the one who came from the last Adam with mind and thinking. And then from Nuh, we know the story, we know the Prophet Ibrahim and the other prophets where we came from.
Okay, Prof. Osman, or with more? I think the creation of human comes late after the creation of most of the creatures, because there is ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, وَعَلَّمَ آدَمَ الْأَسْمَاءَ كُلَّهَا. That means everything was created. Then Allah shows Adam and show Adam the names before the Malaika. After creation of Adam, then give him the names. That means the things are already created. The plants, the trees, the animals, the Malaika, everything is there. Then Allah give the names. Let Adam know all the names before any other creatures. So Adam knows the names before the Malaika.
Yes.
Because the Malaika didn't know the names. That means Adam, last thing, the last creation is for a human. Then the human come with knowledge. And create it and give him the brain and give the brain the knowledge. And he
gave him the brain and knowledge.
The brain. Yeah. And
he gave him the brain and knowledge in stages also. When we call Adam and we go back to the origin of the word Adam in the Lugha al-Arabiyyah, lots of meaning. One of the meanings is Adam means group of people, group of people. And as I said, they were a group, and then Allah, alhamdulillah, developed this human until the brain developed with thinking, start talking, thinking about things around him. Even start thinking about who is the creator. That's the stage where we came from.
Okay, good.
Excuse me, Prof. I just asked a question about the creation of the other creature, probably before Adam or after Adam. So my question now, and also the professor said that human developing day by day or developing on the way. So can Professor predict what is the latest, so since the human changing every time, so what the end?
Only Allah knows. No one will know this. I will be ignorant if I can't tell you that there is an age, or there is a 100 year or million year. We don't know. Humans are developing every day. And as we see in the civilizations around us and in the science of genetics and human engineering, every day there is a new development. But only Allah will know what's the last stage, what's the next step.
Maybe the shape of the human changes through the time. Maybe if I understand the question correctly, the shape of the human is same like us, maybe thousands of years before. Would they have shape like human nowadays or different?
Thousands maybe, but when we go million years ago, see, when we talk about evolution, we are not talking about 1,000 years. We are talking about millions of years.
Yeah, maybe whatever, like millions of years.
We are talking about era, what we call era in the
era.
It takes millions of years for a change. But if we go to the Sira, we hear that first Adam was 30 meters long, but we don't know.
Because from the grave, the old grave, all the hafriyat, all the human found in the grave, they are slightly taller and bigger in size, especially for Pharaoh and all these people, something like this. It's slightly they are slightly taller.
Yes, taller. Or even now, we in different countries and different continents. There are generations. One generation are very tall. One generation are short in the human being. Like I have seen this in America. Some of the generations became very tall people. The next 2-3 generation following, they are shorter than the first generation. And this is the law of genetics. Depends on what gene is dominant and what gene is recessive. Well, the genes that came from the father and the mother. If the tall gene is recessor, then the infant will be tall. If the dominant is short, then the human will come short. And all are by the will of Allah.
There's a question on the chat from Dr. Zuleha from Kuantan. Zuleha Qasim, she's from INHART, she's in Kuantan, the place we're supposed to go last time. So, Prof, she write like, Prof, are you saying that we are still undergoing the evolution process? How does this differ from the Darwin theory? That's her question.
It doesn't, it does, it depends on how you understand Darwin's theory. Now, in nowadays, we do not accuse Darwin from saying that human come from apes or the origin of humans. Darwin never said that. We are saying that all the creatures have been created before Adam, but when Adam was created on different stages, in 4 stages: the primitive stage, then other stages, and until we came to the present feature we are in, and we are still developing. Every a few years we see new characters or new thoughts. Our brain is still developing, and we are thinking a lot more than the first human.
Okay, thank you. I think our time took 11:30, 11:31 now. I think by this, I would like to thank Prof. Omar and thank everyone. Initially, we end this session with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-Asr, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. Thank you everyone. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you very much for listening, for your kind listening. I hope I meet you some other day.
Inshallah, inshallah.